Welcome back to another episode of Fox and Fix It. This is going to be Daily Driver Oil Leak Repair Edition. I am currently lying in the shade underneath my 2012 Nissan Titan, and it has what I have found out is a fairly common problem of the oil cooler O-ring is leaking. It doesn't leak a lot, but it leaks fairly consistently enough to make a nice spot on the driveway, which I'm tired of looking at. So we're going to see if it's as easy as it looks on the internet. Buy an O-ring, couple tools, done in half an hour. I hope they're right. And what we're going to be using today is a large piece of used cardboard, one oil drain pan, a pick, and a pocket screwdriver. This is apparently the replacement O-ring for the offending O-ring that is currently in the truck. This is an optional vinyl glove. I think it might help me get a hold of the oil filter a little bit better. I hope a crescent wrench works, but we may end up with a ratchet and socket and a rag. All right, let's see if we can make this thing work. Right about there. I'm gonna try to get this filter off without ruining it because I don't feel like buying another filter. It's not due for an oil change. And sure, I could wait until it's due for an oil change, but it's making a mess. I'm tired of it. So I put this on, so hopefully I didn't overdo it. Whew. All right, there we go. I didn't overdo it. We're going to be able to use this filter again. You will have to have some oil, apparently, too, because that's what's coming out now to top it off. It's probably a little low anyways from leaking. I think I've got some in the garage. Who knows what it is? It's probably somewhere between a 520 and a 1540, and I think that'll work. Let's take a better look at this, shall we? This is actually the oil cooler, in and out. I don't know which one's which. It doesn't really matter. From what I understand, all we have to do is loosen this nut and take it off, and the O-ring is behind here sealed to the oil pan. I don't think I've got much room. I'm going to go ahead and switch this out for a ratchet and socket right now. The sockets I could come up with right off the bat are 21 and 24 millimeters. 24 is way too big. I'm hoping 21 is correct. Other than that, I'll be fishing in my toolbox. It is larger than 21, smaller than 24. I couldn't find like a 22 or 23 millimeters, so I'm going with 7/8. Oh, it's a 7/8, or whatever the metric equivalent of that is. Not sure how to calculate that. I think it has something to do with going from Fahrenheit to Celsius, but who knows? You can look that up yourself. I don't really care right now. I found one that works. And here we go. You don't want to mess up the threads that are on this because, whew, broke it loose. Whew. Those threads are what the oil filter goes onto, so you really don't want to mess that up. But once it's broken free here, it looks like I'll be able to turn it by hand and take it off. There we go. Okay, and here is that through bolt. You can see through it. It's hollow. The oil goes through there. We'll put that in our oil catch pan for now. And allegedly, there is an O-ring on the back side of this. That's what we're going to try to see without taking anything off. It twists. Oh, it's an orange one. Mine's black. Hopefully that doesn't make a difference. I do have an orange handled pick. I'll use that. That'll probably make up for the difference. So you just want to be gentle, take it off. Like that. You know, hopefully yours falls out. Just that easy. Let's wipe all this off with a rag. I would go brake clean, but I'm afraid that solvent may have something to do with oil ring failure on this. I'm just going to wipe it off and not worry about it. As you should do, probably. I don't know. I guess now we know what's behind that oil cooler. A thing with a thread and another thing. Oil goes there. That's all I know. And we're going to put an O-ring right into this slot right here, all the way around. Basically, that's the same sort of O-ring that goes on the oil filter. And I would bet you could probably, if you had to in a pinch, use an oil filter O-ring for this truck and put it in the same place. But they don't want you to do that, so whatever. All right, this goes right into here. It should be somewhat of a tight fit. There we go, so it doesn't fall out. Nice, clean install. Ta-da, look at that. Wow, great. Okay, going back together. Twist that back into place, and we'll take this through bolt that we're not going to clean off, because why would you? We'll start putting it back on. It should self-center, because this whole job is all about oil. I'm just kidding, it's a self-centered joke. It's sure, whatever. All right, never mind. Isn't that funny, I guess? And we'll tighten this back up. I know my hand's in the way. Well, you know what? The camera's too close. How about I just move it? That would help, right? Look at that. I are a genius. I should have started with the camera over there. Sorry, I should have started with the camera over there. And then not mumble to myself, because you can't hear me mumble to myself, generally speaking. Okay, that's as tight as it needs to be. We'll give this oil filter surface one more wipe. And we're gonna clean this O-ring back off, since it was sitting in the dirty drain pan, and throw it right back on. Because we didn't hurt it when we took it off. There we go. Something like that. Then our little slip and slide here where the oil goes, we'll wipe that off, wipe off the sway bar. And the only thing left is to top it off, start it up, and see if it leaks. Let's do that. All right, I think what we should do is we should probably top the oil off first, because everything is currently settled. And if we ran it and then topped the oil off, we wouldn't really get an accurate reading. So we'll top this oil off first. What do we got here? It claims it's full anyways. It's maybe like, what, a quarter of a quart? We'll throw a little bit at it. It's not gonna hurt anything, right? That's not true. You don't wanna overfill your oil too much. But if you wanna add a little bit and go just slightly past the dot, you'll be okay. With that being said, don't go throwing like 2 and 3 extra quarts in it. That would be very bad. This oil cap doesn't wanna come off. I don't know why. If you have one of these flexi head ratchets, sometimes for something like this, you can use it as pliers and turn. There we go. That's the extra leverage I needed, and the extra tip of the day. I'll get the oil. All right, after not looking in the manual and not remembering, I know this truck calls for 5W something. What I have is just store brand 1030. And scene. All right, so it started at 28. We're right around 2021. Well, 1/4 of 28 is 7, so 21 is pretty close. There's no need to over tighten this. Just through heat and expansion, that thing gets tight on its own. So that's it. Snug is good. All right, we're gonna start it and then look underneath it and see if it leaks. Where our source of our leak was right here at the bottom, and that is bone dry. So I guess that's a confirmed fix. The internet was right. That specific Nissan O-ring that was not necessarily for the Nissan Titan did get the job done, and it was about a half-hour job. Woo! This time it seems the forms were correct, and that all we needed was one little simple O-ring to get that job done, which is nice. And go figure, if you don't have whatever metric size it is, probably a 22, 7/8 will work. And really, it is just a half-hour job to replace this square coat O-ring that lies between the oil pan and the oil cooler, which is on the oil filter adapter. I guess that's really the oil cooler too. It's a 2-for-1, whatever, that's done. And if you wanna know the part number, if you've got a 2004 through 14 or 15 Nissan Titan and you've got that oil leak problem, here's your replacement part. It will work. It is not for a Nissan Titan. Just go online, type this number in, Nissan Group, whatever, and order it yourself. Don't go to the dealer, because they'll try to sell you, well, everything. And you don't need that. Simple repair job that you can do literally laying on your driveway, cardboard optional, in about a half an hour. All right, well, hopefully that's it for the daily driver maintenance for now, because I'd really like to get back to my project cars. You know how it is. All right, well, whatever you do, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. There it is. All right, and we'll see you next time.